What started as just a couple of hundred people rallying here turned into hundreds of people walking towards OPD and then to Lake Merritt. We haven't been able to confirm that that video exists, and neither has she. And she says all she wants is the suspects to be held accountable. There's some sort of standoff behind me. It started with two groups of people just arguing, and then it got physical. Pam, Ken, Orlando Lazo wasn't working for a ride-sharing company when police say he targeted his victims, but because he was picking them up outside of bars and nightclubs, presumably at busy times when there were other drivers, he was able to blend in. Their lawyer prepared 200 pages of testimony from friends and co-workers as to why they should be allowed to stay in the U.S. So in her honor, more than a dozen Jamba Juice locations are coming together to remember her and to raise money for her funeral service. If you have reported someone missing and you have found them, please let the sheriff's office know. They're likely dedicating resources to find the person. More than 300 people are going on this mission. It's mostly nurses, but it's also construction workers and transportation workers like truck drivers, all coming together to give the people of Puerto Rico the help that they so desperately need. There's no power, no water. They're running out of food and gas. So the Puerto Rican community here is doing what they can do to help. The victim's mother says the attacker is still in school, and she's worried this will happen again to her daughter or to another student. Hi, Ken. The mayor tells me right now the city's homeless are spread out all over the city. So what he would like to do is get them all into one space where they can get food and other services. But he says the city doesn't have the funding, so he's reached out to some of the largest companies to help make this come to life. A heartfelt note with the simple words, "We are so sorry for the end of your life." This vigil, a rare and sad sight in this quiet San Francisco neighborhood where a young man was gunned down Tuesday night.
Very scary, one, and two, also very sad to know that someone died, or was shot right there and passed away. It's super sad. Definitely feel for the family.
I don't know, we're just kind of really stunned. And we got to continue watching off each other, and it's, you know, can't be too insulated.
20-year-old Ryan Sactalin of San Francisco was shot and left for dead just before 9 o'clock. Investigators canvassed the neighborhood Wednesday, asking residents what they saw, heard, or knew, and whether they had surveillance video that could have captured the killing. An incident that has left people who live here with questions about their safety.
We're a really close community, and it's about a block away from my home. Didn't hear the shots, but news of it spread pretty quickly, and it was pretty shocking as details came out.
Definitely surprised. I think this area is generally very safe. It's very residential, quiet. Nothing really like this happens.
Catherine Lafort lost her longtime battle with addiction last June at the age of 41.
She had just come out of a program and she was doing fine. And then all of a sudden, her heart gave out. And that was the problem. I'd ask her, and she'd say, "No, I'm straight." You know, but I knew. But she was really trying. She'd get up every morning trying. And that's the thing that I loved about her the most, that she really, really tried. And she had a great heart.
Catherine was a mother of two young kids, now 13 and 5 years old, described as a sweetheart. Her father says months before her passing, they talked about turning their Martinez family home into a treatment center. When she died of a heart attack shortly after relapse, he moved forward with the project in her honor.
That it's a horrible disease and that you need places to help you, because it's very, very difficult to do it on your own. You need help, and we're here to help people who ask for help.
Lafort teamed up with Tim Fitzgerald, who helped Catherine through rehab. On September 4th, they opened the doors to Alhambra Valley Retreat, a center with a 6-person capacity in this beautiful home on top of a hill. Staffed, they say, by people who understand how addiction works.
People blame the addict or the alcoholic, and they get mad at the addict or the alcoholic. If I had an alcohol or drug problem, and you're my family, you're mad at me for having this alcohol and drug problem. If I have cancer, you're not mad at me. You're not angry that I have cancer. You are sympathetic and empathetic, and you want to help me. But eventually an alcoholic or a drug addict really destroys relationships, so they don't want to help them anymore. They just want them away, get away.
A decades-long friendship. The Queen of Soul pictured here with the man who produced her first platinum-certified album, Who's Zoomin' Who. Grammy-winning producer Narda Michael Walden remembers how the two came up with the title.
That came out of a conversation with her. I would say, well, what do you do in your life? Well, maybe I go on a phone call. Maybe I go out, to a nightclub, and I might see a guy there. He might look at me. I look at him. It's like, who's zooming who? But then when he thinks he's got me, the fish jumps off the hook. Aha! That's all that I'm writing this down.
Walden started working with Franklin in the 80s, and their partnership and friendship continued up to the time of her death. He says the late singer's strength was her ability to communicate something divine.
That was her strength, too, just being profound. If her heart was broken, break your heart. So that was her gift. And everybody wants to be able to communicate in a way that is profound. She knew how to do it.
Walden, who's responsible for hits behind the likes of Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, says so many of the greatest artists learned from Franklin.
She has touched everyone. There's not a singer you know that's not trying to emulate Aretha Franklin or do something in the way that Aretha could do something or be as emotionally deep as she could get. Whitney learned from her. Prince learned from her. You don't have to talk. That's all Aretha Franklin's coming through. See what I'm saying?